maaliviivalta vielä tilanne, mutta ei auta. Paatelainen ei osu palloon, ei siihen osu kunnolla moni muukaan. Sitten pelastus maaliviivalta, Moilanen on edessä ja
Hey guys, what is up? It's Rooster here. It's time for a second episode of my Building Finland series. Last time we actually looked some of the things I wanted to do with this save and got over some things. And today we're gonna go over the actual team of HJK. I'm gonna talk to you a little about the league we're playing, Veikkausliiga, and maybe some of the hardships you counter if you manage in Finland in Football Manager, or some actually, well, mostly the financial hardships the Finnish teams actually face here. So hopefully you like this one. If you do, please tap a like, and we move onwards from there. But let's jump into the game and see what I got for you. Starting off with the team screen, as I mentioned in my first episode video, my team is HJK, Helsingin Jalkapalloklubi, or Klubi, as it's called in Finland. And the reason I took this team because it requires me a lot less building that it would be with some other teams, because it's by far the best and most beautiful team in Finland. That's not my opinion, that's just an accurate statement. So yeah, I'm using this team to build up the nation. I'm trying to make some revenue with just getting cheaper foreign players and using them and maybe selling them with a good profit. I'm trying to nurture youth players, probably either use them myself or try to spread them around in the Finnish league so we could get the other teams also strengthened up. Obviously, one of the big goals I will have in this save is to try to make HJK go into the Europe and try to get as far as, some of you guys know in real life, 1998 HJK got into Champions League group stage, and none of us have done it since. That's really important to we actually get some European exposure for the team or for the players and stuff like that. So we could get like the Finnish players that are ready. I could get them to European teams, and therefore they could get some good experience, and we can strengthen our national team that way. So some of the stuff I'm trying to achieve in this save. If we look at the league, Veikkausliiga, it's actually named after the sole sports betting company that Finland has, Veikkaus, and it has been its sponsor ever since the league was found. Not ever since, the league was founded in 1990, and it was first called Futisliiga. I think it's changed its name in 1992. Yeah, 12 team league. One is relegated at the end of the season. The second last is playing relegation playoff against a team from Ykkönen, which is the league below Veikkausliiga. I think in history it has had like 14 to between 10 and 14 teams, but I would say 10 teams would be the best amount of teams in Finland, because the talent pool it's somewhat dry. So we go over 10. The heavy use of foreign players is introduced to the leagues, and obviously in the course of the season you're going to see a lot of teams are facing, and my team also has, as you see, we got a lot of foreign names here. Dane, Rafinha, Friday. Oh, I think this guy's actually, no, he's Nigerian. We got a lot of, he's Finnish. Master Jakubi. This guy is Finnish, even though the name is foreign origin, Nigerian. You see a lot of African talent in Finland, because the most of the African nations are treated as EU in Finland, and we have this rule that only 3 non-EU players can play. So you see a lot of African talent, and that's pretty traditional in Finnish football. I think this team, Rops, at some point had almost a African starting 11 back in the day. So yeah, we use a lot of African talent, and obviously sometimes you hit a jackpot and you get good money selling players to another European team. That's what actually some Finnish teams do, like Hojiko, my team. This guy Alfredo Morelos. In real life, he was bought here basically just to sell him forwards at some point, which actually happened in real life. Glasgow Rangers bought this guy away from Hojiko this summer, so he's in real life. He's not in Hojiko anymore. About a little about the power, structures in Finnish league. Hojiko obviously has to go for the title every single year. As you can see, they've won a fair share in the latest decade. SJK, Seinäjoen jalkapallokerho, is basically like a Finnish equivalent to RB Leipzig, the Red Bull Leipzig. It's a kind of money. The MCC is founded 2007. It's a fusion franchise. Used a lot of money, has gained reputation, and has been gaining promotions from low leagues, but even fast paced, and has already won championship. But they're in a row of bad results at the moment. They actually lost that manager 16 Borstrom this year, and haven't done. But it's somewhat considered one of the stronger teams in Finland. Also, one of the stronger teams is CFK Marienham, which actually won 2016. So Hojiko is being dry 2 seasons in a row. Other than that, it's really mixed bag. It depends on how the season progresses for the most of the teams. So that's what I actually like about Finnish league system, or the league, that the power structures are quite even in Finland. Let's take a closer look to our team and actually some of the players I feel that kind of like are the main focal points of this season in one way or another. So, all in all, if you look at this squad and compare it to other teams in Finland, this is something you should be doing really good with. And obviously, as you can see, there's a lot of foreign players in my squad, but basically, you should do pretty good with even if you just play with Finnish players. So yeah, but take a look at some of the players. Like already mentioned, Alfredo Morelos. My plan is basically the same that the real Gluby has. That I will make the most out of him on the pitch, and after that, if somebody comes out with a good bid, I will just get rid of him, because there's no point of me upsetting the player, because I will never win a fight over him. So if the bid is adequate to my needs, I will let him go. So that's the deal with Morales, and until that, I will find ways to use him properly. The other guys I want to bring out is Atom Tanaka. He's really good player considering Finland. Attacking midfielder. He's gonna see some. Actually, he has seen some shadow striker duty and scored 5 goals, 3 assists. So he's been doing really good. And also, I'm gonna find ways to use him properly. So might be more shadow striker stuff for him. Has been really good in the League Cup games before the season. So he's one of the guys definitely watch out. I got a couple of guys, basically this guy, Staki Gubi. Actually came back to Finland. Let's go see his history. Okay, so he was trying to make his name in the European football. He went to Latvia first, and then was Russia, and then came back to Finland, went back to Latvia, but never really, how would you say, never really blossomed there. So he is a focal point of the midfield in Hojiko in real life. He actually got injured in our last League Cup game, and it's a doozy. It's a 7 to 8 months injury, so goodbye for this season for Mustafa Kubi. I also lost Anthony Allen to long-term injury. He was already injured when I started to save. Would be real nice uh, for if you're looking for a cheap ball winning midfielder for your saves. Look no further. Anthony Allen. He's pretty good in that sense, and it's way too good of a player to playing in Finland. Also want to bring out Hannu Patronen. He's a Finnish player, and actually he's a really good Finnish defensive centerman, and for absolutely awesome for Finnish league. He actually came back spending time in Sweden and Norway, which used to be kind of like the way to go from Finland was to go to Sweden or Norway, but nowadays you see, let's see, oh, let's see now. Nowadays you see guys like Pohjanpalo, which is a Finnish striker, and you can see he played HJK in Veikkausliiga, and then Leverkusen took interest in him and bought him. Obviously, HJK got some money, but after that, it's been really how would you say it? It's been really bumpy ride for Pohjanpalo. He's been, shipped back and forth. He was in Aalen, he was back to Bundesliga, and then went second Bundesliga, Regionalliga, Bundesliga, and now he's in this, say he's in Denmark. So he hasn't had any, regular coaching, regular teammates, anything regular, which should be like a good thing for you to develop yourself. And that's the issue with many of the Finnish players, is that they kind of like accept the offer from organization or league that they're not maybe suitable with. Obviously the buying team thinks they're like money option or something like that, which they don't necessarily tell the player. But that's the thing with many young Finnish players, is that they basically bite a bit too much of rather than what they can chew. So usually back in the day, people went to Sweden, to Norway, they went into straight into first teams, had a solid role there, and had some responsibility over the success of the teams and actually developed themselves in good ways. And Hannu Patronen is kind of like one of these guys. He played in Helsingborg and then he went to Sogndal in Norway, and now he's back Finland. So that's, I think, a little bit strayed away from the subject here, but I think that's okay. Rafinha is he's decent actually in Finland. I would rather get rid of him. He actually takes a lot of cards, but I'll see what I can do, because I got like guys like this, Ronnie Peiponen. He's amazing. I mean, he's alone from Molde, but considering the Finnish national team, I'll probably give him a lot of play time. Got a German goalkeeper, Thomas Dane. I don't even know where he's. How did he ended up in Finland? But he's originated from Red Bull Leipzig, so I guess that's fine. Fine. A lot of other players I could go over, but we do that in the course of a season, so it's maybe not that important now. About the tactics, I don't know if you knew this, but I have this ongoing thing with my buddy Guido from the Strikeless. He sends me, or he has a Strikeless tactic, which I try to morph into tactic using strikers. Because if you didn't know, I used to be a striker when I played football in more serious matter than I do now. But yeah, this is and recently he had this tactic called Classico. He said that if I wanted to try it out and play with him, and this is my current version of it, of Guido's Strikerless. I think it was something like this when I first got it. But yeah, This is the form I'm trying out now. But somebody, if you guys know me, and if we had any discussions about my tactical, how would you say, preferences or stuff like that, probably the thing is what you're gonna see at the start of the season, that my tactics look more like more like I think this at the start of the game. This is probably what my tactic looks like. So I am not that accustomed to using shouts a lot, or having this amount of player instructions. I usually I have this, like I said, I have this thing with Guido that I try out his strikers tactics with the strikers. I usually end up always, watering them down that much that they're not that maybe relevant anymore to anyone. But I'm very simple and rigid style of football is what I usually play. But I love this thing we have with Guido. He's a good friend, and I'm happy to have this kind of banter with him with this tactical stuff. But that's cool. But there's probably gonna be lots of other formations which I'm going to use this season. Actually, what the actual HJK plays, it's it's a lot like this. This sort of formation what HJK plays in real life looks a lot like this. So um, I'm not maybe so hot on this. Probably what you could do with this one is just you put these guys as either Ramdeuter or inside forward or advanced playmaker, or something that cuts into the middle. Because everybody knows that in FM16 these guys were like powerhouses. They would get here and give crosses, and that was the way to go. But it's more like the middle stuff this year, movement in the middle, people moving in the channels, use of striker that is able to move around and drop and create spaces and stuff like that, and having people here to actually exploit that. So it's for what I've seen and experienced, it's more like that, I think, tactically this year. But it's everybody's doing their stuff, which is great, and like I'll do it also myself. So that's the tactics stuff, I think. But we will get there along the season, and when the season starts, and when I'm happy with something basic which I like to use, I will go that in further detail. I'll promise you that. All right, I think that covers up this episode. I have talked a little bit from Veikkausliiga, a little bit from my team, a little bit about my players, how I'm going to use them, and stuff like that. So hopefully you guys get a little nice bit of info from here. And on the next episode, we are actually gonna see some gameplay. What we are going to do there is we're gonna take on Kuopion Palloseura, which is my hometown team, and we're gonna take on them, and you're gonna see some game cast on that one. So it won't be this boring chit chat of me just telling stuff in my usual boring Finnish manner. But hopefully you guys lived through this video. If you did, please tap a like, and if you like my content, please subscribe to the channel, and I hope you guys do well, and I'll catch you in the next one.